All right. And that brings us to today, which is our Snapchats. And our Snapchats are very brief interviews with people who have done some great things and enjoy helping people and want to give you the game so that you can be a winner more often than a loser. And we know that you're either gonna learn or you're gonna have some lessons in life, and you want to turn the L's into lessons so that you can win more often. Everybody loses sometimes, but the goal is to win more often than you lose. All right. So these Snapchats are going to be brief opportunities for you to hear from people who can show you how to win more often. All right. Make sure that we are keeping it respectful, engaged, accountable, and being leaders. That is, we're real here. And so when you're a part of our community, when you're visiting us, you're real too. And, the theme for this month is flexing on your future. And 3 things that we want to focus on. You want to do now what will help later. So present you helps future you. You want to make sure that you're doing things in the present that your future self will look back and say, I'm so glad that you did that, right? You also want to collect information that could become pieces of your future puzzle. You're going to be getting a lot of experiences, and you want to make sure that as you get older, when you're trying to put together your puzzle, it looks the way you want it to look. So pay attention so you can collect some important puzzle pieces today. And then you also want to make sure that this is a new year, right? This has been a wild year. There's been a lot going on for all of us. And we got to reset and make sure that we're controlling what you can control, because everything is not within our control, but there's a lot that is. And even amidst that uncertainty, there are things that we can control to make sure that we're creating our best future. All right. So the 4 things that we're thinking about, that we're focusing on: thinking, doing, choosing, and being. All right. And so I want to, just give Mr. Leroy Hutchins. I want to put the floor on him for a second to introduce himself, and then we're going to get started with the conversation. So,
all right.
Sir.
Yes, my name is Leroy Tre Hutchins. I go by Trey. Most people call me Trey. And I am a longtime resident of Cobb County. In fact, I've been here over 35 years. I attended the Cobb County School District schools. I attended Brumby Elementary and East Cobb Middle School, Lindley Middle School, and I graduated from the Cobb County Center for Excellence in the Performing Arts at Pebblebrook High School in the early 90s. And so I've been here a long, long time. I've also immediately just finished serving as the South Cobb Council PTA president, where we oversee all PTAs in the southern portion of the county. And Garrett Middle School was one of the schools that I would help support through PTA and PTSA. And so hopefully you guys have your memberships for this year. In addition to that, through that work, it has led me to where I am now. And I now serve as your school board representative on the Cobb County School District Board of Education for the southern portion of the county, which is known as Post 3. And so, and I'm here today to talk with you in regards to, actually, you want to talk about how I got here and what I used to get here, and to be a better advocate, not just for the community, but for you as students, for the teachers here within our county, and also our families here that represent our great county here in the southern portion. Thank you.
Thank you. So you've obviously done a lot, and you're from the community and you're serving in the community currently. So what I'm wondering, and I think what a lot of us are wondering, is what types of thoughts, what types of mindset really made you want to do this? Because everyone doesn't make the choices that you made, and everyone doesn't decide to do things the way that you did. So what mindset was helpful for you?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, when I graduated from Pebblebrook, I was eager to leave South Cobb. I wanted to make sure that I went away to college, be on my own, and leave Cobb County and South Cobb behind me, and did for quite some time. Went off to college, started working in my career. My career was in real estate and property management, and did that for 25 years. I also was a pastor, so I served many different churches throughout the course of those 20 years or whatever, and which led me as far away as Phoenix, Arizona, which is 2,500 miles away. But when I started, when I had my kids, I decided that I wanted to be closer to home. And so it afforded me the opportunity, because of my career in real estate, it afforded me the opportunity to move back to the home that my family built 35 years ago, and begin to serve the community, in which helped raise me and helped make the man that I am today.
Thank you. Okay, so there was definitely a pathway that you followed, and you ultimately were called back here through
Yes.
through various events. So when you're thinking about some of the stuff that you had going on in middle school and high school, what were some of the skills that helped, that you actually were developing and cultivating at that 6th to 12th grade range, that really allowed you to be more successful as you got older?
Okay. So I was a very shy child, meaning I did not like crowds. I did not like talking in front of people. I was very quiet. I had, and because I went to elementary and middle school in East Cobb, all my friends were in East Cobb. And then in 7th grade, when I came to Lindley, I didn't have any friends. So I had to start all over from scratch. And I was very shy, and it was very difficult for me to do that. At that time, and I just wasn't confident in who I was. But one thing that I knew that I could do and do very well was I could sing and dance. And so I got in the chorus. Well, they placed me in the chorus, and that was where I was able to build my self-confidence up. And as a result of that experience in middle school, I was in 7th grade. It helped open the door for me to have different experiences in middle school. It helped me to build my self-confidence so that I was able to interact successfully with other students in our school. And so, which helped me all through high school, and now to this place now where public speaking and being out in front of people is not an issue as it was for me when I was in middle school, and I did not have the confidence to do that. But self-confidence, it helped build my self-confidence in middle school.
So you really didn't have it all planned out. There was
No,
something that you were good at, and
no,
you kind of followed that breadcrumb to the next thing. That led you to chorus, and then that being involved with student organizations and being able to really utilize talents really kind of led to other opportunities as you got older.
that's correct. So even in middle school, um, I did the talent show, and as an 8th grader, singing in the talent show and having all the females at the school saying, "Oh, he could sing!" That was exciting, right? So by the time I got to 9th grade, it just kind of grew from there. I got involved with the performing arts at Pebblebrook High School, which was exciting. I performed for everyone in Cobb County. If there was something that was opening, the performing arts director took me to it. It opened up doors where I was on television, I was on radio, representing the Cobb County School District as a 14-year-old. It was exciting. I was being flown to Carnegie Hall to sing with the Atlanta Symphony Youth Orchestra. And all these were experiences that I had as a young man and did not have a clue what I wanted to do. I just did what I could do best. And that happened to be what it was. And it helped me when it was time to run for different positions within our student government association. It helped me when I was looking for other programs within the school outside of performing arts that I wanted to participate in. It just opened up doors that I would not have necessarily opened on my own had I not took the leap of faith to believe in myself, open up my mouth that one day and start singing. And so I'm telling everyone, whatever it is that you do, and you may do it like I was doing it in the shower, so no one heard me. It just took that leap of faith to actually do it in front of people. And from there, it grew and grew and grew and continued to grow. And even after I left high school and went on to college, I had opportunities that, were as a result of me taking that leap of faith in middle school. I was in movies here in Atlanta that was filmed here in Atlanta. I was recording with different artists all over the country. I was touring with different artists all over the country. But it all started in middle school. It all started in 7th grade.
Man, so that's pretty dope. All right, so you just said a mouthful, right? And so I want to make sure that we can get some of them gems and help those emerge from the conversation. So you were shy, you took some risks,
Yes.
and also we have a lot of students who are shy and maybe afraid of taking risks. And we have students who are interested in performing, right? They're interested in whether it's music or if it's being an athlete or if it's writing or, dancing. We have a lot of students who, are really interested in that thing. And so I'm wondering for that student who's shy or that student who's looking to do some of the stuff that you did, what are 2 to 3 pieces of advice that you would give to like someone who hasn't broken out of their shell yet or someone who's still developing?
Learn your craft. Learn your craft. If it's singing, practice how to sing. The one thing that you have at your advantage that I did not have is YouTube. I didn't have YouTube at my disposal. I didn't have Google at my disposal. So you guys, the opportunities are endless. Even if you can't get to a dance studio or you can't get into some dance classes, you can virtually, because you can always log right on to dance classes that are being taught on YouTube. Learn the craft. If you have an artist that you like, at your age, I don't even want to start naming names because I'm not sure who is relevant right now in in your era. But for me, it was Michael Jackson back in my day. I wanted to be Michael Jackson. I wanted to sing like Michael Jackson. I wanted to dance like Michael Jackson. So I studied Michael Jackson to the point that it allowed me opportunities and it put me in the position where at Pebblebrook High School, I ended up graduating senior most talented. That's a superlative that they give seniors, different superlatives. This was the funniest person and this was the most athletic. I was the most talented. And so study your craft, learn from every experience, learn from every opportunity. And it doesn't necessarily have to be classroom experiences. You can learn from television, you can learn from peers, you can learn from all the resources that are available to us online right now. Take advantage of it and apply it and start using it.
Thank you. So really important to make sure that you learn your craft and then make sure you're taking advantage of every opportunity and using it towards whatever goal that you're trying to achieve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. So next, I just want to talk a little bit about making choices, right? Because there are so many different things that we can decide. I know we have a lot of students who are engaging in choices that they've never had to make before, right? People are thinking about, what am I going to do next year? Who do I need to spend my time with? My friends are my friends today, but they're not tomorrow, but then they're my friends again the next day. Or I find myself getting in trouble with some people, or I really enjoy hanging out with some people, but my other friends don't really like that person, right? So many choices, right? Yes. So what helped you make choices that allowed you to get to where you are now?
Well, I had to make sure that the people that I was attached to and the people that were around me were people that were better than me. And so what happened is that being around those strong people helped me to be stronger. I didn't like being the smartest person in the room. That didn't benefit. It didn't benefit me. It may have benefited them, but it did not benefit me. So I wanted to make sure that I was always around people that was better than me. And performing arts helped with that process because there was always a lot of dancers that were a lot stronger than me. They were classically trained and been dancing for years, and even with singers. But it helped me to become better. So even when I had to make decisions with, who I wanted to hang with, and being at Pebblebrook back in the 90s, it was a different school than it is now, So I had to determine, do I want to hang with my friends from middle school, or do I want to hang with my new friends from performing arts? And so I had to learn the balance because I knew where I wanted to be as a result of being in performing arts. I knew what skill set I wanted to have. I knew that I wanted to perform on Broadway one day and all these great things. So I had to start looking to my future and making sure that I was hanging with people that had the same interests, same like mine, and we help motivate and push each other to the top. So, and it's going to be difficult. That's going to be a difficult decision because again, your friends are your friends, and you love on them, and you want to bring them with you, but everybody's not going to be able to come with you. So you have to be able to acknowledge that as well, and make the best decision for yourself.
Man, I think you definitely said some words just then. And I'm wondering, because now you're talking about vision and purpose and direction. And when you talk about being, all those things are super important when you're trying to figure out who you're becoming. And we talk a lot about what do you want to do when you get older, how much money you want to make, what kind of job do you want to have. We don't often talk about who do you want to be when you get older. So I'm wondering, what and who were people that really helped you develop your identity and character as you are becoming who you are, and even as you're still becoming, because there's not an end point, right? Or there is, but generally, as long as you're alive, there's always the opportunity to still grow. So who were some of those people? What were some of those things?
So, of course, my parents. My parents have always been very instrumental. My grandparents, my family have always been instrumental in making sure I stayed on the right track. But then I also had some great mentors and some great teachers while in school. The director of the performing arts at Pebblebrook High School at that time, his name was Earl Reese. He became like a second father figure to me. In fact, to this day, some 35 years later, we still speak, we still text, we still talk on the phone. When I need advice, I call him up and he's, still able to give me exactly what I need in that moment to help motivate me to continue doing what I'm doing. But I also take my cues from the people that I have around me. Even though I grew up in South Cobb, I made sure that when I went out into the workplace and different places, I made sure that I always spoke with the person who was in charge of things. I didn't take my directions from the person that was on the same level as me. So I always spoke to the CEOs. I always want to make sure I spoke to my elected officials. And so that has kind of helped guide my my lane. It kind of helped position me by keeping those relationships with people that were elected officials, people that are the CEOs of different companies and things of that nature. So now that I'm in this space that I am now, I have those relationships that I can build upon to help ensure that whatever I'm giving to the community of South Cobb, it is the best, it is excellent, and not just mediocre experiences.
And so I'm wondering who counts on you and who do you count on, right? And
Yeah.
so why are you choosing to do all this with your life, right? Why is it important for you to spend your time when you could be doing anything? Why are you spending your time in this way?
You're right. I could be doing anything. Again, I used to pastor for many, 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 many years. So I just have a love for people, and I always want to see people maximize their experience and become the best that they can be and be everything that they can be. That has always been an intricate part of who I am. But in addition to that, I have some older sons. My older sons are 24 and 25. And then I also have two little ones. I have a middle school sixth grader at Lindley Sixth Grade Academy, and I also have a fourth grader at Bryant Elementary. So my kids keep me moving. They're my motivation. And so just trying to navigate the best educational experience for them got me in this place. And just to be honest, when I moved back to Cobb County, I moved to Cobb County because I realized that Cobb County had an excellent education system. It's just what I knew. I received world-class education, and I knew that my kids would too. When I got back, I realized that in order for my children to have that, I need to be involved. And so I got involved with the PTSA, the PTA. I got involved with the school councils at my schools because I wanted to make sure that my children had the best experience. But then it wasn't so much just about my children any longer. It was so that every child that was in that school building had a great experience. Since that love and that experience grew and grew and grew. And so here I am today, making sure that every school in our area is a school that you get the best education from your experience in our schools.
So the title of today's Snapchat was Collaborating for Positive Change, right? And I think there have been just a ton of nuggets, right? There have definitely been some keys to success throughout everything that you talked about. And before I ask this next question, I just want to open the floor up to anyone who has a question. Just put it in the chat because we have about 5 or so minutes left. But I'm wondering, why collaborate for positive change, or what are some tips that you can give to our students who are looking to work together to change things? Because our students are pretty vocal. They will let you know if they have a problem, and a lot of times, or sometimes, they advocate for themselves in a way that can work against them and not for them. And so, what does that look like? What does collaborating for positive change look like? And how does that relate to you joining the school board?
Yes, so collaboration is key. Collaboration helps to magnify your voice. It helps to make what you say louder by collaborating with people that have like vision and like mind, and you come together and you begin to collectively push the message and whatever you're advocating for, whatever you're speaking for. But I tell my kids this, and I always keep this in the back of my mind. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So you also have to make sure that what you say is relevant. You also have to make sure that what you say is well thought out, that you've actually did the research, and that what you're saying is accurate, because we live in a day and age where a lot of misinformation is out there. A lot of opinions are out there. So what you want to make sure that you past opinion and you move to the place that when you start speaking, you're speaking truth. So one thing that we say in schools, your teachers and your principals will say is we make data-driven decisions, meaning we make decisions based on the accurate information that is out there. And from that, we try to make the best decisions based on that. I'm going to admonish each and every one of you to do the same thing. Don't just go off of your opinion, but research. Make sure your opinion is sound. Make sure that it can be backed up. And if you have a strong opinion and it meets those criteria of passing the fact, that it can pass the fact check, then go with it. Be strong and be confident, because that's what's going to build your confidence when you're actually speaking about the things that are important to you. I will say this, there's a time and a place to do it too. Every time is not the place. So make sure that you're knowing when the opportunities are so that you do not come across as insubordinate or rude or disrespectful. Again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Most times, how you say it will determine the yes or the no. I remember when I was a child, I would walk into my mother's room and I would just say, Mama, what's going on? And I start asking her how her day. And the first thing she would say to me is, what do you want? She knew I wanted something because I was trying to set it up, and she would always say, what are you buttering me up for? And so I always say, set it up right. Go in there with the right intentions and the most professional attitude, and give them the best of you. And when you do that, even if the answer is no, oftentimes it can be changed to a yes.
Man, I just appreciate this good word that we getting today. Um, one of the questions that we got was, what college did you attend?
I attended many colleges. So
Okay.
I went to Georgia, West Georgia College. That's where I started off. And I was majoring in early childhood education because I was going to be a music teacher. Decided that I was not going to teach very early on. Then I transferred and went to Georgia State University, was majoring in mass communications. I finished up at the Atlanta American Intercontinental University in general media. But I actually started working in real estate and property management. So, but that was because all those things had everything to do with performing arts, being in front of the camera, working the camera, and things of that nature. And it was part of my passion. But I started working in property management and in real estate because I wanted to make a lot of money. Now I made a lot of money doing it. It now affords me the opportunity to really focus on my passions and the things that are important to me and not have to work a 9 to 5. So it allowed me to be an entrepreneur and work for myself.
Oh, yes, man. So we definitely talked about, remember, y'all, we talked about putting the pieces of the puzzle together, right? And a lot of times you hear one puzzle piece, right? And you're given that same piece over and over again. Go to college, go to high school, go to college, get a job, work until you retire, right? We get those same puzzle pieces. And what I hear Mr. Hutchins saying is that there are ways that you can put a lot of the pieces that you thought you couldn't use together to make a picture that is more fitting for all the things that you need, your whole self, right? So I definitely appreciate you saying that.
Yes, sir.
We have a few more minutes left and we got a few questions. What church did you pastor at?
Right now, I am one of the associate ministers at the Dream Center Church of Atlanta. It's in Decatur, Georgia. And my pastor is a bishop. He is a gospel artist who travels the country. I've had the privilege of singing and singing behind him when he's out singing, and he has Grammy Awards and things of that nature. So in the gospel arena, but yeah, and I still do real estate because you don't need a degree. You don't need a degree, a college degree to do real estate. You just take this, you take some classes, and then you take the state board, and you become a real estate agent, and then you can start selling and buying houses and become, and really, to be a real estate investor, you don't need to be a real estate agent. You just need to have a good business model.
Man, okay.
So I utilize all those different things to keep food on the table, and to keep me not having to work a 9 to 5. So there's a lot of different avenues out there to so that you can still live the best life that you want to live.
Man, so we got a few other questions. One is, let's do a speed round.
Okay.
All right. So do you still do music?
I still do music. I'm a worship pastor, so I do music at churches, and I also sing background for different artists to this day, and I still tour and travel with those artists.
Did you get a scholarship?
I got a full scholarship to all the schools in the state of Georgia, because my GPA was high enough that I was able to get the Hope Scholarship. But the schools that I auditioned for, the performing arts schools, I auditioned for New York University. However, I did not get a freshman scholarship. I got a sophomore, junior, and senior scholarship, which means I would have to come out of my pocket $20,000. So we didn't have $20,000, so I had to make other decisions. And I went where school was free, so that now I didn't have a whole lot of debt. I didn't want to live my life full of, having to always be in debt with those student loans. So I went to school here in Georgia. It was free. And that was the best decision that I made financially to better me in the future.
Man, okay. So thank you so much for being on. So for those that don't know, I'm also a product of Cobb County. I went to Bryan Elementary, Floyd Middle School, and South Cobb High School. And so, I just want to say to y'all that we were once in your situation, right? You have a lot of adults that could be trusted adults for you if you give them opportunity to support what you're doing. And the reality is that there are a lot of people that we grew up with who did not make it. They either didn't make the right decisions, life hit them in the wrong way, they were unlucky, but for whatever reason, they just did not make it. And so it's so important for you to use all the opportunities and control all the things that you can control, because when something happens that you can't control, you want to be able to absorb that shock. The other thing is, there were 4 of us. My freshman year in college, only one of us graduated. It was me. Right. So I need you to understand that even if you make it past high school, there are still going to be challenges that could knock you off track. If you get knocked off track, you can get back on track. Right. So right. I would like for us to kind of end on this. What is one most powerful thing that you want to share and leave with us? And if there are any other questions, please email me. And then I can also provide Mr. Hutchins contact information if y'all want to reach out to you, if he's okay with that. But yeah, and he's okay with that. So what's one last piece of information?
Use everything. When I say use everything, use every experience, use every lesson, every lesson learned in school, every lesson learned hanging with your friends, learn from others, learn from your parents. Don't just dismiss what they're saying, but use everything as a stepping stone in the block to where you need to be. And don't be afraid to try new experiences. Be observant and use everything as a lesson.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank everyone. Thank you for your support in making sure that this happened and connecting our students with important information. Like I said, if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to email me. I'll make sure that Mr. Hutchins gets them. And you all do something to make today great. Make sure you do at least one thing to make today great. All right. So y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Do something amazing today.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Man, I appreciate it, sir. And you enjoy the rest of your day too.